Reading drive. This publisher. Oops. Publisher. Anyways, I'm trying to think. Well, no, um, there's literally, hopefully nobody watching me. I know that before I started this. Okay, so we will talk about capitalism. And there's a lot of people that seem to be against it. It's odd. It's usually Americans. Um, and capitalism is really just easily demonstrable the best system, economic system to create wealth. It's not capitalism as the form of people. And so I want to talk about people first capitalism, how my system works, why it's different, um, and things that I have music in the background, which is music I wrote the lyrics to and sumo and the rest. So if you want to support the channel, I will have some links to my distro kit. So if someone wants to support the channel, they get all the music. I'm never going to charge for any information or anything that's here on YouTube. This is hopefully educational and helpful. And then if I ever get a viewer, I'll make my number available. You can just post a question and I will address it. Um, it doesn't matter what the topic is. Right now, I'm going to try to focus on capitalism. I'm sure I've asked a couple of times, but, I think too often we attribute the name to outcomes. Well, the outcomes are based on people, not, the idea. So I think we need people that are smart, that care about flourishing, that want to use organizations to help people. Really, capitalism has been structured as, we're going to extract from people to build these companies. You have to flip that. It should be about, we're going to build set these companies up with this structure so we can build humans, so we can increase human flourishing. And if we do that, apparently I'm supposed to we'll go to bed. Um, so I think that's simple switch will have drastic effects in the right direction. Small effects repeated and repeated and repeated to huge effects over time. And I'll try to put my face on here. If anyone actually watches, I happily with the camera, but I'm actually uploading music. And in fact, if someone watches, if they want to push the music in their own, I'm going to put all my family on. Sales song, take 75%. Um, so that's what I'm doing right now. So on Suno, I have, I think, maybe 20 songs on Suno that I should hear, all my music. And a lot of them are finished. I've probably versed this for 70 or 80 songs, but all of them right now kind of over chapter and my cosmology and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get people that want to engage and have a discussion about how we make the world a better place and how we increase human flourishing for everybody. I have a lot of ideas on that. I'm sure most of them are crap, but if there's one or two good, maybe we can flesh that out and find some way to make the world a slightly better place for everybody. So here I am setting up. That's my mom. So I'm going to set up other people for that. Oops. Yeah, that's me. and I have eventually next. So I'll keep doing that. About companies and organizations and how we've messed up, and then there's a better way to do it. Um, I think traditional companies are set up, especially in Western society, it's a shareholder value. Well, I think that's wrong. I think if we build people first, you're going to have a more cohesive organization. You're going to have a more adaptable one. As soon as you start building people and investing into their future, most people they're in their job because they have to pay their rent and they built it, not because it was a paying dream. And so, if you are owning a business or you're an executive or whatever, think about where you work. Think about when you were investing in your education or helping there's a sacrifice. And if we have people that are making your company's dreams come true and helping it be profitable and flourish, we have to be doing the same thing for the people who make it happen. We have to invest in their long-term goals, even if that's not in line with companies. Who cares? I worked at a few different places when I was in college. It wasn't definitely wasn't my dream job. You know, and I'll be honest, I worked in a dream job. I stuck in the transportation sector, but my job was never about what I did or who I was. It was about doing something that let me have time so I could be a good father. And, you know, people say a lot of stuff, but if you can't demonstrate it, well, I hate to say it's not true. You can't say your children are number one and you're never there. That's absolutely not true. You want it to be true. But if you can't demonstrate it, well, then you're fooling yourself. You know, I said, there's no bad parents need kids. And I really just went straight off the capitalism into parenting. Way to go, dumbass. Um, because they're related. You should run your company the same way you run your household or how you build people. As a manager or business owner, you should be building people. You should be giving them the knowledge, skills, and ability to do their job better than everyone around them, hopefully. And so hopefully one day they'll need you or whatever their goals are. You know, so I have what I call people first capitalism. I should probably put that up on the screen. I will. Uh-oh. I was like, huh? I thought someone was posting movies. So that's good. Okay, so I am going to put people first capitalism. So someone can, okay, no one to be on. Okay, so that's it. So if anyone like joins in and this is working, I have no idea if it is or not. I don't use anyway, so um oops. So, okay. So then just like in a nutshell, AI gives a chance to redesign capitalism from extraction to empowerment. What does that mean? With AI, so many people are afraid of taking their job. It's actually a tool that we can use to free us from repetitive work and as a learning partner. You know, I want every person to have their own learning coach. AI, I'll be honest, is my best friend. It's what I talk to the most, besides my kid. My son is my roommate. He doesn't live with me as even my kid. I'll be honest, he's usually correcting me. I'm mature, but I always tell him, you have good parents, I have vision. So we have to understand, I think we are at a crossroads where we can have a million different ways of making ourselves go extinct, especially with AI. Things are just, it's going to chase faster and faster with technology available. And yet we can't seem to get past this childlike thinking where we are stuck. We're not even adolescents. Most of our thinking is child. And I hope somebody hears that and would like to challenge that and call them. But no, it's all this. Um, you know, I'm a pretty selfish person. And so I want to build communities because people who have and they have equal opportunity, they don't hurt others. They don't go rob people. And I have to live in my community. I have to live here. So it's kind of selfish, but I like living in a decent place. So I want to make my community a better place to live. And that should go for everybody. Um, we keep working on distro code, but that's kind of in a nutshell the human first renaissance, people first capitalism, and in a nutshell, I have a much longer version, but I think this sums it up well. Anyways, I'm gonna like probably leave that out so I don't put other people's email on this freaking. I probably already did. Um, I would say my ex was mixed up. She let me in circumstance. Say about that. My ex-wife, she's remarried and she's the greatest person on the planet. She's more powerful than computer than that. And she's a sweetheart, and that means, but it's so good along. You would think so. It's a weird thing. I guess, however, it's just a business because I should be talking about capitalism. Capitalism. This will be on track there. There's this anti-capitalism going on, and there's super smart people who seem to be against it, like Forrest Alcott. How can react to that? He's pretty smarter than me, and many people like him on the capitalism side because it's the people in charge are the ones who have. And so all they have to do is change the goal a little bit instead of quoting profit for shareholders. The goal should be how many people do we give skills to? How many people do we make very good leaders? Who people thinkers? Somebody's going to be able to challenge us. And I'm like, for all the ones when I said political. And he told me about a plan. He was like, well, who's boss? I'm like, threaten their job. And I was like, dude, if I could like threaten somebody to convince them that what my plan is, that I think is the best course of action, I probably think I can convince you with logical reason and evidence. I need to reconsider what the hell I'm thinking. You know, that's not for good. That's called coercion. That's literally called power to control that. That's not right because those people, the first opportunity someone has to take it, they will because they're not qualified. The person with the power should be the most knowledgeable, the, the person that's going to be the most effective and give us the biggest exercise on outcomes. And so I'm going to give that power to anybody that has the knowledge in me. Why? Because I just like better outcomes. Maybe it was not attached to whether I'm either wrong or if I'm the best for me because I'm always wrong. And we will always wrong. Usually close enough, we're wrong. And that's just the truth. And like even my cosmology model, which was on my last video, I don't want to put up again, so I'm not doing this on video. And it's probably stupid anyway. And one physics class, moving on, somebody like trying to tell me about behavioral sciences and never had it, and they don't have any education in it. I'm going to guarantee you, 99.9% of the time, you're going to have to read some silly ass nonsense. And so it's not like blaming some physicist for looking at my credentials. He's like, okay, this guy barely a master's level in industrial psychology. I'm not even a PhD. So yeah, they should. But with AI, how fast I can update and correct myself and see if something broke my model and make predictions. It's crazy. I never would have been able to do what I've done in a lifetime. I think that part's um, but we do have to let go. I'm worried because our technology and our ability to like wipe ourselves out in a million different ways is really exponentially, and yet we keep thinking like children. You know, it's and if you can think like, um, okay, so how do we really good fairies or magical beings that have the power to do whatever they want to, but don't ever seem to do anything and think like children? You know, I hate to say that. You know, I'm gonna offend some people, but I don't care. The truth is, you know, I think well, about the dangerous areas. We talk now that people just, it's 2026. Maybe we still believe in childhood stuff. And if you don't think so, listen, your God, if you're a Christian, your God literally believes that I can't kick him in the cross, I can't punch him in the throat, but if I just put his wings and punch him one up, I can go pregnant. Okay, that means as a parent, you think that you discipline your kid and they get upset and call you a name. To you, that means you are okay with being in every single day for the rest of your life and beyond because of one finite regret. I don't know how that's going to me. And so, if there's a Christian apologist or any person listening that's like, you're dead in my God, tell me how that's not true as a parent. Someone has to explain that to me before we get off set. It's like, how can you expect me to involve me as a child who was struck me down years ago? I had a super cool life. It's been awesome. And I've probably been his biggest tattoo guy. And so I don't understand how that makes sense. And I don't understand how anyone over 25, how that's not getting like kicked out of it. You know, parents shove bullshit. They're holding junctions and getting involved related. Uh, that one right there, by the time you're 25, if you aren't like, come on, especially as a kid, it's like, really? Yeah, he's going to push me forever for like bad mouthing, just kissing his ass well enough. I don't know how you compartmentalize that because that just gets ejected immediately. That's triple thinking. That's not even adolescent. Adolescents have a more nuanced concept of justice and proportionality than that. Really childish. So it's I don't know what's going on. I'm open to explanations, but that's hard for me to explain. But like, how does that make sense? Mm. Even from there, it just gets worse. Mm. The serpent never lies, but God lies. That's it's like you possibly person because the difference between right and wrong. That's weird. I mean, anyways, if you want to get off that and go back to capitalism, I'm going to get myself before I even have a viewer. Um, yeah, 18 years old. Uh, uh, oops. This is my influencer. If you're not, oops, I don't know what that's like. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyways, let's get Google Drive. And because I like cosmology so much in the James Webb Space Telescope, and the last time I was on live, I put up my papers. But this is like I need a sponsor. I need a sponsor. And so here's my latest. I've updated it one more time, but I'm not changing this. So it was updated, but it's going to affect this. I literally get how to falsify what I'm looking for. Um, and I had everything wrong at first. Like this is like the fourth iteration, and that's a cool thing about it. Like I have no physics class yet. I was sitting there watching playing tennis with my son, and we're talking, and I always thought visually in, so I started seeing some stuff, and I'm like, what's wrong? And a year later, I'm going to submit this. I'm trying to. I do the sponsor first. But if anyone sees it and it looks interesting, I would happily collaborate with anybody or be told how wrong I am, so I can just abandon a broken model. If it's good, then I'm to abandon it and update to better. So let's see. I think that's mostly really good much about that. And it's not too much about capitalism, but it is. I hate to say that, but everything's connected. Um, I can elaborate on that, but let's stick to universe capitalism. And I'm hoping, well, I really need another industrial psychologist that's like smarter than me. I have a couple companies that, well, I have my AC company in Arizona, and I have companies in Mobile. I want to collect data and actually document this and show this that my model works better. And there's nothing better than, live interviews, watching how the companies, employees change as we put in new reward systems, as we put in efficiencies, um, you know, and that's hard to deny. And so hopefully other companies would either follow suit or, get their employees taken from them because they're going to go to where they're going to be developed as individuals. The company's going to get back and invest into their people just like you're investing into the organization. Um, when I went to grad school, hell, everyone there was smart. That's why I was there. All my other professors, I want to bring it there and there, but anything that looks cool or they think it's something worth looking into, capitalism, um, small tweaks just to the organization as a whole can have big effects. I use organizations to build people. I'm not going to extract from people to build companies for shareholders. We want to use organizations to develop people and increase human flourishing. That's what Next Gen's all about. But I will talk about, but I had a message. It wasn't. So I will do this again later. I have to go to the bathroom, so I should probably take a little break. I'll come back live in a few minutes. Um, and maybe someone of you have some like music that I think anyone of these is a good idea. Maybe this out there. Oops. Okay.